All right, everybody. Yes, indeed. Another Techno Saturday and another Techno Feedback Session. Who was first in the chat today? Eavesdrop Storage Worldwide. We got some interesting names here in the chat. That's a good one. I don't know what that means. But hey. Zach Saylor, what's up? Skandar, I know that name. I realized that he's asking what time will we start. I realized I posted the event on YouTube while I was traveling, and there was a time difference, so it put it in at like 7 in the morning, like Central European time, which would be 1 p.m. Or is it the other way around? I don't know. I put it in the wrong time, but I fixed it. Obviously, we're on time. It's 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time here in New York City. And let's see, Metaphase is here. Luminous Cloud calling out my guest today. That's right. We should talk about some of that. And Luminous Cloud, as of course a lot of you know, is a regular here. Thanks for hanging in there and keeping the chat alive for us. Michael Italia is asking about, can we send our tracks for feedback? Well, the cutoff was yesterday, so next time. You just got to watch every week and let it, and then you'll know when we're doing these feedback sessions. Funk Tours in the house, and Live Society is back. Itzy is back. Alessandro Braz, welcome. Mike Harding is in the house. Very nice. Let's get to it. Without further ado, hi, I'm John Selway, and this is Techno Saturday, brought to you by 343 Labs Music Production School here in New York City and in Berlin, where my guest is. He's not on the screen yet, but he's here. He's waiting in the wings, and of course, out there in the universe via the internet. And you know what we do here at 343 Labs? We teach music production, we teach mixing and mastering, synthesis and sound design, songwriting, arranging, composition. We have different workshops and master classes and all sorts of different subjects, music related. I do a techno course online. It's called Making Techno. Very clever name, isn't it? Making Techno with John Selway. And our friend, our instructor here, Great Dane. Dane has a bass music or a bass online course. We do it all, just bass and techno and everything else. Actually, there's a lot of people making lots of different stuff. We had an event just on the other night on Thursday where some of our students performed, and they were playing some really great stuff. You know, guitar, keyboard, singing, pop songs, electronic music, film scoring, all of the above. We do everything here. So if you want to do that too and learn more about it and get better at it, maybe take one of our courses. Check out what we do. Check out the links below for what we've got going on in New York and in Berlin and the aforementioned online universe. All right. Enough about 343 Labs. What are we doing today? It's a Techno Feedback Session and a hangout session with a good old friend of mine. Let's bring him on, finally. He's, as I said, waiting in the wings. Everybody welcome my guest today, Tim Xavier from Man-Made Mastering and producer extraordinaire and DJ as well.
Hello. Yeah, sorry, my webcam is from the early 2000s, so
you're pretty bright and blown out and grainy there, mister.
I didn't have to wear makeup for this one. Yeah.
No, you didn't. No, it's okay. No. You're bright and shiny. You're the sun. You're our sun today. You're casting light on the proceedings. And yeah, so I don't know. We just we had our whole setup thing, and like your camera wasn't working, and then everything was weird, and then here you are. So everybody cross your fingers that the internet gods will smile upon us and our stream will not be interrupted. But we won't worry about that.
We're not going to worry about it.
No, we're not going to worry about that. So I'm really glad to have you join me. You've been on the show before, a little while back. Lockdown days, right?
Yeah, lockdown days. I can't remember what the occasion was. I mean, was it your techno?
Yeah,
Saturdays
we did the Techno
thing?
Friends. I mean, you and Tim were on. You've been on a couple times.
Me and Tim. I'm two people.
Tim. You and Tony. Gosh, the other T. Luminous Cloud was asking about Tony Rohr earlier, and Tony's been on the show.
Yeah.
With you. You forgot.
Okay.
I can't believe it. I'm heartbroken.
I mean, it's been so long. Oh my gosh.
How many things have happened in these 4 years of craziness, right?
Well, I can tell you if you want to know.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons you're here.
Okay. Well, 2 years ago, we started building a new studio facility for our mastering suites.
Oh my gosh, that's the pictures.
And we built Northward acoustic rooms, basically down the street.
Northwood acoustic rooms.
Northward acoustic rooms, which are designed by the Thomas Joujon, who's our friend in Belgium. He's building his acoustic rooms all around the world for different artists, musicians. He also builds live rooms, but they're basically decoupled, room in a room concept, all outfitted with ATC speakers, diffusers in the right
place. The little
place.
rotating slideshow on your website up on the screen right now for everybody to see. It's impressive.
Oh, nice.
The quality. You
Yeah,
could just tell by how it looks.
man, it was. Oh, I mean, we made as a team, we made it. You know, it was an intense process. So meanwhile, we had to exist and do mastering and cutting master lacquers for vinyl out of our old venue. Meanwhile, running to the construction site
Hmm.
on a daily basis. So you'd have like a semi truck that would pull up coming from Belgium or France or Italy, bringing glass or rock wool or cellulose. And you would see this 18
That's
wheeler just
crazy.
like, yeah, filled to the brim with absorption material. And one day we had 3.5 tons, metric tons of wood delivered.
Wow.
And actually we had
That's a whole
to,
lot of wood.
it's a whole lot of wood. We had to rent the basement of the building,
Uh-huh.
which is kind of like a small kind of underground warehouse where we stored the wood. And our builders, who are from Italy, they're from Rome, and they build for Disney, Netflix, Sony, and so on and so forth. So
Hmm.
they would go into the basement and then cut different parts of the wood to spec, and then myself and a team would have to port those pieces of wood that create the build. We'd have to port those up to the fourth floor
Hmm.
where the studio was being built. But yeah, it was quite a
That's
process.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's intense. I
Um,
mean, we've had a not quite so intense experience here working on our new space in the building. Not at the level of what you're doing there acoustically, but we do have now a fully treated, not fully isolated, but fully treated studio space, which I'm looking forward to work in and teach in and make music in. That's going to be cool. But
mm.
yeah, I being a de, de facto construction manager was an unexpected highlight slash stress inducing experience of my year.
Yeah, I mean, I think in your case, you have, you have your builders and the materials, and maybe you're monitoring what's going on. In our case, I mean, we as a mastering team, and
Hmm.
we had to run around the city to buy like certain really specific tools. I mean, we had to spend like copious amounts of hours on the phone during
Hmm.
COVID, like tracking down certain materials
Yeah,
that weren't even available in Germany.
sure.
Like the glass, for instance, is all from San Marino
Wow.
in Italy, which is basically the Luxembourg of Italy. It's like its own country. Um, but yeah, it was an experience, and we've been pretty much in operation now for 2 years,
Hmm.
and it's great. It's like the ultimate uh, critical listening environment. So, as I tell people, it's not always necessarily about the engineer's experience
Hmm.
or the outboard analog gear you're using. It's also a matter of having the right acoustics where you can dial in the detail
Right.
that you wouldn't otherwise hear in a different environment.
You are, as far as I've experienced, a man who knows what he's doing when it comes to mastering, and your attention to detail is definitely appropriately, I don't know, fanatical.
Thank you.
No, I mean,
Um,
you nerd out on those details. Like, you don't let them go.
well, I think that's the whole point, is that
Yeah.
there's a certain level of zen that
Mm.
comes with working in a critical listening room like this,
Yeah.
where you can dial in the detail with ease rather than constantly switching to headphones and going, I don't know, is that 120 hertz? Is it still wobbly? Um, is there mud? Is it too bright? Is it too dark? Is there a resonance at 5K? All
Hmm.
that stuff becomes a little bit easier
Yeah.
to,
The
to
better you can
dial
hear
in.
it.
And I mean, for a lot of the listeners and people watching the show, I'm one of those guys. Like I fell into mastering by accident. I didn't, I wasn't like, I'm going to go be a mastering engineer. I got my start in Brooklyn, learning how to cut dub plates and masters on a
Mm.
Scully record cutting lathe, which was just pure
Full
fun.
manual.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, oh, I get to cut my own stuff and cut yours, and then with over the years you get experience with what works on vinyl and what doesn't, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. And of course, I mean, I want to segue a little bit into you as a musician, because I invited you here. Of course, you're a mastering engineer, and you've got Man-Made Mastering, and you have your amazing team, and you have your amazing facilities, and you know what you're doing. But you're also a music guy, a music producer, a DJ. You've had many years of experience. You have records released. Some people were even in the chat talking about that. And you sent me some tracks to listen to. And I kind of wanted you to put your music producer hat on today rather than your mastering engineer hat on, because, we're doing a feedback session, but I didn't ask everybody to do like a mastered final version. So we're listening to like, composition, arranging, production, sound design, mixing, more. And like, so like that's sort of the perspective that we're coming at everything today. I just grabbed some tracks that you sent me, and I don't know which one I'm playing right now. And you're not hearing it, are you? I'm not hearing it either. Oh, I see why. Because I was on the wrong output. Let's try that again.
It's the track with no audio. That's my new track.
Do you hear that? Does everybody hear that?
Yeah. It's one of my least favorite, but...
Okay, well, let's start. Let's critique it.
Sure. I can tell you right off the bat, the one thing I absolutely am not a huge fan of with this tune being my own tune.
What's it called?
Is the bass line step sequence. It's just too easy.
I have no problem with it. I think you're being hard on yourself.
I mean, the name should be in the title.
Me shake my head sideways. It's got that, like.
I mean, yes, it's got some good 909 work, and there's some 808 business going on in there as well. Oh, 606 as well. So I try to use like all three guys, 606, 808, 909 for different things.
Nice chords.
Got a little chordy sexy business going on there.
The little drone pad in the background sounds familiar. It sounds like a sound I've heard before.
I sampled the movie Alien.
Weird.
And
how did I recognize that? It sounds great.
I sampled the movie Alien. I'm a huge fan of, I don't know if I want to name drop on the show. I'm a huge fan of this one producer in techno. And this person always has like this atmospheric kind of vibe in the background. And yeah, one could put like a noise type loop in the background to add dimension, but in the end it's just noise or static. In my case, I like a tone even if it doesn't have a progression. But yeah, this is one of those tunes where the sequence looks super intricate, like there's a lot of automation and little bells and whistles. Yeah, I'm coming in with like a new kind of vibed out.
I love that we're grooving on your least favorite track, but I think I'm fine with it. We're not going to spend this whole. I think we got to get over to everybody's submissions like real shortly.
Of course.
But I just wanted everybody out there who doesn't know, now they know. Tim Xavier makes some dope tracks. And he's experienced and he's fully qualified to give you his opinion on your tracks.
I mean, basically that's my job, is to listen. The mastering job is to listen, essentially listen to people's music and make critical assessments of more about the sonic profile than stylistically. But in this case, we can rip apart the stylistic part that I'm not exactly happy with.
One of our regulars and also another great producer, Absinthe, is in the chat, and he says, "Who doesn't know Tim?"
Thank you.
Thank you, Absinthe.
Thank you, Absinthe.
Thank you.
I love your plugin. I use your plugin still.
Haha, no, Absinthe or Absinthe? It's Absinthe.
Oh, I thought it was Absinthe. I'm like,
yes, the plugin is in the house.
The plugin is here. Woo!
Nice. Silver Knobs HMDT says, oh my gosh, my track isn't mastered. It's fine. This isn't a mastering feedback session. This is just a general production techno feedback session. It's just
we're having
so
fun. This is fun.
This guy right over here is a mastering engineer, but don't let that worry you.
Yeah, we're having fun. This is just about fun.
Luminous Cloud says the houseier tune on Sons of the South is a banger.
Thank you.
That's an old one, right?
That's the first record I ever made. I mean, it's not the first track I ever made.
The first record you released.
The Sons of the South was on Brandon Riley's label called Technotica in the year 2000, and it was called the Sons of the South because on one side was Andre Morant, and on the flip side was like I think maybe this sixth or seventh track I had ever made.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and back then, like, you know, if you got your hands on some samples from a sample pack, it wasn't like you went to the internet and you downloaded packs or you subscribed to Splice or something like that. I mean, you literally had to buy or spend like $200 on a CD and then rip the CD to your computer and then go through all these like snippets and truncate them yourself.
So much easier now.
Yeah, it's almost like, it's not that it's too easy. It's just that I feel like back then it was kind of nice to work for it in a way, like sampling in general.
Kids these days have it so much easier than we did.
So many damn tools.
They got Splice and Loop Cloud and all right, I can't do that. It's making me want to cough. I can't talk like that. Not today. All right. Well, that was a nice introduction, Tim. Thank you for telling us about your mastering studio and a little bit of your and we got one of your tracks in to listen to, and just to give an introduction to everybody who, unlike Absent, knows you, but you know, and then obviously Luminous Cloud knows you. But we're gonna have there's some newer, younger people that might be you know, still learning. That's why we're here. We are elders of techno, I believe, and we are here to share our wisdom and experience. So let's get into that. Let's start getting into the submissions for the feedback session today. And I have not previewed any of these. Usually I do. Usually I'll like just not needle drop, but, you know, like go in and do a little bit of listening to everything the day before, especially if like maybe something is not quite appropriate stylistically. So there may be we may have some surprises, just to let you know. But as far as I can tell, and I recognize some names.
No reggaeton?
That would be a real stretch, but hey, why not? I doubt it. I think everything in here's got like a 4/4 kick, pretty much.
I master
as far as I can tell.
Yeah. Okay.
Luminous Cloud says, why are you talking about Bones? Don't get Bones started on how easy kids today have it. You have it easier in some ways, but in other ways you have it harder because of like how you have to be big on social media to like get any attention.
Yeah. That's
and how you can't make any money off of your music unless you're huge, like, or you have a huge catalog over many years. But like, because it does add up, even if it's the streaming money is trickling in. If you have enough tracks out there, it can add up. But still, yeah, in some ways, it was easier for us to get into the game. So it's a trade-off, right?
Well, there was a limited, you only had so many players in the game, kind of, so to speak. And
like we could count on our hands, like on 10 fingers, like all the biggest DJs, and probably knew half of them just from like being adjacent to them or like living in the same city.
Well, back then in like 2000 to 2004, I would finish tracks and literally burn them onto CDs, but I would burn them as data discs. And I would go to the post office like this with like stacks of padded parcels going all over the world. And the people at the post office in in Chicago, they got to know me. They're like, there's that guy.
There's that guy with all those CDs.
Always filling out the little green slip, so it gets to Europe. Okay. Yeah.
We did that. We didn't email everything.
But no, I mean, back then we were beyond, well, maybe you're a little bit older than I am, but
back in my day,
We definitely had email addresses. It wasn't like I had
We
a
didn't
fax
even have email. We had to fax everything.
all that snow I had to trudge through to get to the USPS office. Woo! Anyway, go on. Let's talk about techno.
We're talking about techno. All right, let's stop being silly. Let's listen to our first submission for today. Here in the Discord, we have got Amobe. I hope I'm saying that right. Cat in a Lap 2. And I'm not gonna. He made some comments here. Let's just have a listen before we say anything. And for sake of time, we're not going to listen to the whole track and then give feedback. We're going to talk over it because otherwise we'll never get to everybody. And also for Tim, start with the good. We start with the constructive, what we like, and then we tear them apart.
I mean,
constructively.
I'm already on the dance floor. It's that whole like tingly, like electronic step sequence shit. I love that. Drums are good. Got the like shuffly backbeat.
We got the filtered square wave thing going on. That's what I hear. The resonant filter jumping up and down.
And you know what I like about this tune is that it starts off with a kick. There's so many tracks that come out now. Oh, and then the kind of radar silo. I mean, it's classic. It's classic.
Yeah, this is a classic style of techno for sure.
Cool traditional 909 hats. Down with that.
They're swinging. They have a little offbeat swing to the hi-hats, to the ghost notes.
I believe in the industry we say that's a 55 swing.
I think it might be more than that. Might be 70.
I would totally play this.
It's a nice warm-up.
And you know, what I like about tunes like...
Something's happening. Something's changing. Wait. It's getting melodic.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you know, what I like about tunes like this is that there's a level of patience. You know, I'm rushing into elements too fast. I think back in the day when I got started, one of the main things I was concerned about outside of just the stylistic aspect was how do I introduce the next instrument without just unmuting it or adding it in the sequence. That's cool. I like the emotional vibe.
There's a bit of trance in that, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's good trance.
It's not like melodic techno kind of trance, you know what I mean? Melodically, but it's more classical trancey in a way. It's more like
composition. It's a composition. Yeah. It has a compositional quality to it. So my friend who produced this track, it's very good. Back in the day, we were huge fans of, well, at least I was, of Oliver Lieb, Global Ammunition, a lot of those like
world, right?
Frankfurt kind of, but slower, which is great. I would call this like if my friends and I were sitting around and we were playing tunes like this, we'd say this is the rushing to the hospital track, like terminally ill, something's wrong.
It's also very smooth and deep and relaxing. This is it's not a dance floor like hammer, you know what I mean? It's kind of,
but it's well thought out.
This is the break. Now it's getting a little bit more melodic techno-esque because of the speeding up and slowing down thing. You know? That's cool, a very current...
Kind of like a cool Doppler style effect.
Well, it's like the bouncing ball kind of thing. It's just speeding up and slowing down a sequencer or arpeggiator. Now, I'm noticing in here, he calls it Discount Inigo Kennedy. And and I get that because there's some Inigo Kennedy track. Wait, let's not ruin the build-up. Hold on. appropriately emotional. I mean, yeah, good.
Yeah, but
Right.
hats off for having a little bit of comedy in there. Discount Indigo Kennedy. I have tracks that should be titled Diet Surgeon.
I'm going to turn it down just a little bit.
That's good juju. Good juju, man. Yeah.
All right. So here's what I'm going to say. It's too melodic techno trance to be an Indigo Kennedy. Now, it's a fine line because there's some Indigo Kennedy tracks that are very hypnotic and melodic, but his melodies are weird compared to this, or something, or more simple in a way. You know what I mean?
Can I make a...
And then the sound design is a little more striking with Indigo Kennedy.
Can I make a technical comment?
Sure.
So I noticed like tracks like this where you have multiple layers of synths that are coming in and in the same key. That's great. Mm-hmm. So you get the key structure. Musically, it works. There is a plugin. Pay me money. It's called Track Spacer, and basically Track Spacer. Yeah, of course
use that on
you
stream
do
all the time.
Of course you do.
My viewers know about Track Spacer.
Track Spacer is great because you can add it to multiple channels, and like it very eloquently slaves to your bass drum, your backbeat drum work that's kind of shuffled, without like a whole lot of ducking. So yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, no, I mean, mix-wise, I'm going to concentrate. All right, let's pause this now. It's almost at the end, and we got to move along. But I'm going to concentrate as far as like constructive criticism on this track is that if you were going for Indigo Kennedy kind of vibes, that I would listen again to some Indigo Kennedy and listen carefully to the melodic styles that are in there, because this one sounds less like Indigo Kennedy and more like sort of a little more. And this is not a diss. It's a little more typical trancey kind of harmony, right? I think you want to be a little weirder to be in that Indigo Kennedy world and a little more striking on the sound design. Otherwise, great arrangement. The mix is good. It's not a peak time killer. It's like a warm up or a come down or an after hoursy kind of a track. It's really ambient in a way, but it's really nice. Well done.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if you're getting your not even if you're getting your start, if that's what you're into, hey, well done.
If that's what you're into, you're getting low, Tim. I have to adjust your camera a little bit.
No, I'll adjust it.
Can you sit up a little bit? Thank you. Okay.
How's that? We
can see you now.
You should back up a little bit. Like I'm too zoomed in.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
There.
We're not. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. Oh, are you watching the stream? Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it over there on my Mac.
Is that a little better for you now?
It's like 8 seconds later. Yeah.
So let's check out the next track. This is Skandar Siddiqui. Skandar Siddiqui. This track is called Koiwazurai. I probably completely ruined that, but let's bring that volume back up.
So far, so good.
It's already generating tension. I want to know what happens next. Long intro.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like what these different producers are using to create their keys. Is it
synthesizers?
Yes, I know that. It's like, I wonder how these people are getting to work. They have cars, you know?
No, they ride bicycles, Tim.
So
they take public transportation.
Now this is dope. I noticed like when the drums came in, like there was kind of a ducking of the rest of the body of kind of step sequential melodies, which is dope.
Something went away in a good way.
No,
right?
it didn't go away. No, not in a good way. I like when compression actually is doing some of the work.
Yeah.
You know, what's the point of using? I mean, there's bus compression, but like compression in production can.
I'm going to jump in a little bit
to sculpt.
I always do this. In the beginning of the show, I listen to tracks for longer, and then we run out of time, and I have to rush everything later. So we should start skipping through a little bit so we don't overextend our time. Also, I can kind of tell the way this track is going. It's not changing that much. Just percussion coming in. That's not a diss. I'm just saying that we're not missing that much by skipping. Let's get into the break. See how this transition works.
Uh-oh. Got the
Tweak those rides.
ride cymbal detuning going on.
I like doing that. It's a subtle little old school thing to do. Turn the pitch knob up and down on the rides.
It never gets old. There's some cool automation ride cymbal tricks you can do in Ableton, which sound a bit more processed that I like, rather than. But either way, it's great.
We'll let the break play.
I mean, this is like cool, functional, atmospheric.
It is functional.
I dig its simplicity.
Little trippy sounds coming in the background there. Okay. I'm going to say, all right, I like this. I feel like if my initial, as much as this is effective and it's mixed well and it sounds good, the pattern it's wearing on me a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I hear
it's
you.
hypnotic,
Yeah.
but if it just had a little bit more variation or contrast with another element.
Yeah, but see,
if
I'm also
moving a little more.
I'm also guilty of that, like having a pattern that you're like, oh, I like this, and it doesn't like necessarily evolve so much.
Uh-huh.
I think that's okay, just so long as at some point, like you can filter it out and then just go basic with the drums. In this track case, I would say, if you want to take it to the next level, dirty it up. Find some like bus compression with like some distortion, like Big Muffy type stuff.
Well, it could be how it's mixed, like bringing some of the drums out, making the kick drum more pumpy, you know, like...
all of that, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, aesthetically, it could have a little bit more, you know, like...
So you think it's maybe a little on the clean side? You'd want a little bit more saturation, a little bit more edge around, a little crispy, a little dirty.
Yeah. But I can also
and you know what? I also have to say, tracks like this, sometimes when you listen to them in your headphones at home, it's not the right environment for it. Like, this might take on a whole new life on a big PA system.
Totally.
With the right mix.
Well, but I mean, look, the timing of that, like, letting go of the ride cymbal, letting go of the hats was like right on time.
Yeah, arrangement is solid.
So we should give grades here. Like, I give this.
If you want to give grades, I'm not going into grades, but you feel free.
Right. Well, you're the one that's all like.
But that's. I don't. You know. I mean, I'm not going to be cruel about it, but I try not to pull punches. If I hear something I think should be better, that's why we're doing this.
True. Yeah. I hear you.
We can't just tell everybody. Everybody gets a star today. It's not. You don't get a participation trophy. We'll say what we like, but also your kick drum sucks, dude. You know, like. Be straight.
Well, but we're not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I didn't say that, but I thought there could be a little more oomph in the low end on this track, maybe to balance out the floaty trippiness of the synth.
I just think aesthetically, like, good feedback on this one is the track is cool. Keep it the way it is. Do some processing on the master bus.
Okay.
You know, processing on the master bus, whatever that means.
All right, I'm going to bring in the next one. This is Oscar Cuidad, Home Run de Cometa. Ooh, right into some...
This is not Diet Indigo Kennedy. This is really greasy Oscar Merlero, Christian Vucci.
I mean, it's Millsian.
It's Millsian as well.
And Hoodian. It's 90s Detroit minimal-esque. Well, I love this shit.
I love that. I like the secondary
keys.
The
oscilloscope. Whoa.
Oh yeah, this should be jamming. This shit's jamming. I mean, of course, claps on every beat, you know.
Reverse into that. Increase the pressure.
Yeah, it's be jamming.
It's getting noisier. There's a lot going on somehow. I love like all the little notes going. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but I like that rolling bass line business. The rolling bass line like this is hard to do at this tempo. Like at this tempo,
it can get muddy, right?
It can get muddy fast, and so this is done really well.
Well, it's not. I feel like if the low end is full, but it's not very loud. It's probably nice transition. Probably good that it's not too loud. Like the low end isn't too heavy. Although I wouldn't mind a little more. All right, we know we love this track. Let's already get into the constructive criticism. I feel like the kick could be a little more full, a little more loud.
I can't tell that here on my AKGs.
Yeah, it's hard to say. But I feel like I could use a little more pressure on that kick drum.
I hate to be the one to plug this, but on the Ozone 9, 10, or 11, there's this one tool called Master Rebalance, and you can shoot vocal,
it's like stem
bass
separation for mastering.
It's basically a transient designer for different things, for different elements, like whether you want to accentuate the vocal or the low end. And in this case, you could use an Alicia envelope to create a bit more slap. But otherwise, this is dope as hell. My other sort of polite critique is that this tune is dope, but everything's happening so fast.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the next part. Here's the next part. And that's cool. That's
okay.
like a product of, it's a product of today.
Long. You know what? People are saying, oh, tracks are so short now. Tracks are so short. Go back to your vinyl from the 90s. You'll see all these short tracks on them. There's a lot of techno tracks that are like 5 minutes.
4 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right, I'm going to jump in again. I feel like maybe I like the pressure from when the synth gets louder in these build-up sections, but I think it's too much because when the synth goes back down to its original level, it sounds like you're losing power. It's like a little too much contrast. I don't think you need to exaggerate the volume as much in those breaks.
Yeah, I can't really judge. I mean, it sounds cool. It sounds fine to me. I can't judge that unless
listen to this again. Listen to the level of the synth.
All right, yeah. But wait. Let me explain something.
And then the kick drum right here, listen. You can hear there's a volume automation going up. And it's going up a lot.
And it might be higher than the amplitude of the kick.
Yeah, I think it's too much.
Might be.
And all of a sudden the synth sounds quiet, too quiet.
It drops in energy. Yeah, that's easy to fix.
So I would do the same thing, have it get a little bit louder, but not as much, so that when it comes back, it sounds more congruous rather than incongruous.
Congruous. If you
congruous.
See, I'm gonna correct all of your English. Just kidding. Like this is
I make up words, Tim.
Adobe Debohe. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So, you're right. There's a bit of an energy drop. Mm-hmm. That's easy to correct. A and B. Really, I implore people to get like Audacity. If you're on Windows 10 or 11, you can get SoundForge or SoundForge Studio. There are different DAWs where you can actually see the waveform and you can see your breakdown. And if the amplitude of your synth work becomes louder or even at the same amplitude of your bass drum coming back
even
in.
here on SoundCloud, it actually doesn't. It actually is... The low end goes away, so it looks like it's quiet, but that's not showing you the mids and high level.
You
right?
can't tell anything from
SoundCloud. Yes.
Yeah, the waveform like depiction of what you're looking at. You can't.
It looks cool.
Sometimes it does look cool, but like you can't see what's going on. You know, sometimes clients will send like, oh hey, I want to do an order. Here's my 4 tracks. Check them out before like I commit to the mastering job. And then the first thing I look for is where's the download, because I want to download the wave or whatever it is. Okay, you want to go to the next track?
I do, because it's already almost quarter to 2. Are you? Because everybody who watches regularly knows that we usually go an hour. We are going longer than an hour today because we've only listened to 3 tracks or 2.
Right.
All right. So yeah, let's keep it moving. This is XNLD, and I feel like I should know how to say that, and it's called Chambers. Let's check it out. A little quieter. Let's bring that up a little bit.
Yeah, can you kick the volume over here?
I am kicking the volume. Is that a little better?
That's a little bit better, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
can you hear me talking over it?
I can hear you talking over it. You can go a little bit louder if you want.
Okay. Just I can't forget to like turn it down again for another track that's not that. You know what I mean?
So the next track you play isn't like
yeah. I'm gonna jump in a little bit.
Ooh.
Well, this track is 7 minutes long, so we're not listening to this whole thing.
Are you sure you didn't pick all these tracks for me?
I swear to God. It's everybody who submitted knew you were gonna be here, so they were like, I'm gonna make a track for Tim.
Thank you. That's dope. Wait, let it play. Let it play. Let it play, dog. Damn. I like all that. I mean, I love all this like step sequential work. And the cool little like I don't know if it's like 32 note.
Wow. Okay. Absent is like laying down some hard opinion here in the chat. I don't like this. It's my most hated techno pattern. 1,000 tracks with that pattern. Now, I don't hate this. I think that's a little harsh, but like, I hear what you're saying, and that there is like a certain kind of diminished scale interval thing that you hear a lot of in techno, and I think it's hard. I mean, this on its own, it's good, but like if you compare this with like so many other tracks that sound the same, but you could also say the same about the previous track.
I think
that
like
it had elements that are similar to a lot of everything we've heard so far is derivative of what's come before it. That's not necessarily a terrible thing.
I think it's a fair point that the last, there's been 3 or 4 tracks we've listened to could all be on the same various artist EP, and it would work fine.
Yeah.
So there's that.
All right, I'm gonna go in a little bit on this track, and we go into the break because, like, again, this is a 7-minute long track, so we have to jump into parts.
But I do dig the I like the string element, all those rides and shit. This is dope. I play this.
Okay. Would you play all 7 minutes of it? Probably not.
I mean, if I played the track, there's no way that I'm going to play all 7 minutes of it anyway.
All right.
But I like the crescendo of what's happening right now, before going into like the steel drum kind of sequential circuit or sequential sequence bit. Yeah.
So I'm
like,
gonna
all of that with like the flange is really well done in my opinion.
Cool. So I think opinions aside on style and whether the melody's been done or that type of sequence has been done a million times or not, I think it's an effective track. I think the mix could be better. Everything's kind of closed in the middle. I mean, there is a stereo image, but this could sound so much more open with some more panning and more careful EQing. Maybe some of this could be addressed in mastering, but I feel like another pass on the mix would probably be a good idea. What do you think?
It's another thing. It's another situation where like I can hear the track, I can hear the stereo field. So I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you there, John. No, but
you'll just fix it in mastering, huh?
Well, no, I think like it sounds quite balanced. I'm not in the tank, you know. Yeah. I'm not between a pair of ATCs in a front to back room where I can dial, like, where I can hear the small.
Am I chopping up on your side too?
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm fine.
All right. This
Can
has
you hear me?
happened lately. I did that long stream. I did a long paid stream with Christian Smith. We did like hours, and my Mac Mini started freaking out. So I like the fact that it's only doing that after like barely an hour is not great.
Is your Mac Mini M2?
No, it's an M1.
I mean, either way. Hey, for all those out there who don't know me, I've got my old Intel whatever i5, my mother's MacBook that I inherited, and in front of me is a Ryzen Ryzen 7 like 32 gigs of RAM like Windows 11 machine. So no flinching going on over here.
No. All right. Well, it looks like we're back in sync now. Let's get this next track on. We're gonna do.
Hit me.
This is a track called Zinc by Walt. Let's go,
Okay.
Walt.
Zinc by Walt. I swear to God, you picked out all these tracks.
This is what people are into. This is what people are doing. I like the thick. It's thick and clean at the same time. You know what I mean? And the kick is kind of, it's just a little transient. I wonder if it's going to come in bigger later.
I would mute the hat
You think you shouldn't start with the hat so soon?
for now. I just think the hat's kind of like a bit too stiff, in my opinion.
Absent is asking, where's the funk?
Why is the track speeding up? Is that my internet connection?
Yeah. That's the. You're hearing the timing changing is the data throughput being weird.
I kind of thought for a second, is that what we're doing now? We're doing tempo automation. That'll be like the next thing.
Speeding up and slowing down all the time, that would be kind of annoying.
Well, it used to be a thing where like somebody would play a techno set and then morph into a drum and bass track. And they're like, how did you do that? It's like,
Tempo automation or polymeter. So I'm seeing there's a couple people in the chat that they're kind of dissing on some of these the patterns that are in these tracks.
all right, everybody be nice.
But
Come on.
though I would say yes, a lot of techno out there has similar patterns, and these are subgenres of techno that have similar patterns, and I get it. And when you're learning how to be a producer, you want to learn to do the stuff you like and that you've heard by producers and artists that you look up to. It makes sense that these things get perpetuated. It's part of a musical language. Think of the blues. How many blues songs are some old guy with a guitar singing over the same 3 or 4 chords over and over again? It's just the words change. It's like that. It's a musical language. So I have tolerance for that, especially when we're learning. And that's kind of what this show is about. So I understand the opinions about musically it could be more creative, but like also a lot of us are on different levels of progress, and maybe we're on the way to learning how to be more unique. And by doing this again, we're getting better at it. So be nice, guys.
Yeah, but
I'm off on my soapbox now. This is a nice track.
But the zinc, yeah, but wait, you just missed a cool transition I liked where like this person froze. No, they froze the reverb, so it did like kind of a like tail. I dig that kind of shit.
I hear it. It's subtle in the background.
Man, you can almost create like you can do a freeze and then like unfreeze, and it gives it like a gate effect without using a gate.
This is cool. It's like a little head trip.
I have so many like sketches that are exactly like this, where I'm just like, okay. I mean, no, I revisit them and I'm like, man, I should release this, and then I work on it and only, I'd say like if I make 20 sketches, only 5 or 6 of them really make it. So nobody feel bad. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, I think a lot of like learned producers will agree with that
All right.
observation.
So whatever you think of the
the
style of this, like, I think it's executed well. It's mixed well. It's got, all right, it may not be funky. Absent wants some funk. I get it. I like funk too. This is not funky techno. This is like very straight, cold, flying through the universe, futuristic, bleepy, Millsian techno. But it doesn't have the same feel as a Mills track. I'll give you that. But it's good. It's good execution.
Good execution.
Is it going to work a sound system? I don't know. This is very head trippy listening music in a way, right? It's kind of almost ambient in a way.
I would like to seal the deal on this tune. I would send the hat with a little bit of like very like controlled reverb just to give it a little dimension because it's a bit.
It's maybe a little too dry.
And I'm a fan of like the closed 909 hat. Huge fan. It just depends on how it's used because it has to have a certain amount of body to like.
So maybe a little thicker, a little more spacey.
A little bit thicker, like, send some reverb.
All right. All right, we got another one. This is from Flav. This is called The Anthem.
Oh shit, Flavor Flav.
Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, let's bring that volume back up. All right, a little heavier groove this time. Some more drummy stuff.
I dig drummy stuff like that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Luke Slater's Tortured label. Remember Tortured? Billy Nasty.
Billy Nasty.
Billy Nasty, yeah.
I like he had his Tortured label and then he also did the Electro label, right? Ooh, nice little pause there. It took me by surprise.
Yeah, but I dig that. Like, it's like scene cut. Bam!
Man, every track has had some like minimal synth pattern in it. Every single one, except now this one's like heavier and dirtier and drummier, but it still has that like chord.
But this one's different because
this
one's different because it's like it's cutting to stuff. You know, it's like wait, here we go. You know, it's got parts.
It's got parts.
Dynamic parts that pop. Yeah.
Oh, Andre Morant's in the house. What's up?
What's up, Andre?
So yeah,
nice.
This one has more power. This is more dance floor rocking than that so far, right? Definitely amping up the energy.
Of course, always a fan and claps on every beat. That's what's up.
Got a jack.
Oh. Ooh, pitch bend. With Tom work.
I'm not sure I go on with that vocal sample.
You're just too old for this new style, bro.
I mean, this is like, you know, like every other Charlotte DeWitt track has a vocal like that she plays now. It's like a repeating rap that's clever and hooky.
Man, we got this, Andre Morant and I had this old friend from the old rave days in Houston, Texas named Chris Anderson, and he loved shit like this, where it was like a techno track, and then it would bust into like kind of like a rap thing.
I mean, I used to play some of those back in the day. I feel like this vocal doesn't match the music as well. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to stylistically diss it, and the reason why I'm not going to stylistically diss it is because it actually works.
Like, now I like it again.
And it's not too much. Yeah, but I mean, it was well executed. It worked.
Would you really play that? You had someone booked you at a festival and you had 5,000, 10,000 people in front of you. Would you play this record?
No, I wouldn't, but other people would, and motherfuckers would go nuts. Like, I mean, it's not about what I would play. It's about
what's
the functionality of the tune.
What I liked, what Thomas
Wait,
Schumacher,
I want to hear.
Remember that one?
Remember that track?
That's
yeah.
a good one. But this one, he just talked to him. It's too much. Like a small piece of this would have been fine, rather than the whole verse.
There used to be this like this Gabber track I owned. I'll wait for the vocal to pass.
My 9mm. That one.
No. I used to say I'll wait for the vocal to pass. Might be a while. It would say take fly by slam.
I think it's too much. All right.
It's fun.
It's fun, but I don't.
It's not my deal, but it's fun.
The track is good. There's too much of the vocal. Use it less. Use a small piece of it.
I would just mute the vocal, or just use it more sparingly.
The groove is good. The chords are good. The production's good. It's driving. It's bouncy. I guess it's a taste thing. It's a taste thing, right? Cool. Now I think I've had a submission from this guy before. He looks familiar. I mean, you're a good producer, and I feel bad now. I'm being hard on him because of the vocal.
No, that's all right. I mean, he's probably listening to me more than he's listening to you. He's like, "Yeah, Tim said it function out."
Well, that's why one of the reasons I like doing this with another person is that you get differing opinions, and you want that, right? You want different takes.
I have clients who produce in the vein of this style.
Yeah.
And I just make the shit pop because
that's your job.
And when it gets down to the nuts and bolts, it's all about the sonic profile of how everything works. And
yes,
if
Tim.
I want, yes, and
you tell them it's all about the sonic profile. Let's get into some.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, come on. Steve Like, Mars. This is Mars. Is it going to play? It's going to play now. Another bangier one. That's good. Synth bass sounds like a 101.
It's funny how you can tell the difference between like a 101 or
a similar synth.
Some patch, yeah.
It's just some patch. It sounds like a 101. So far, so good, though. Right out of the gate. Serious business.
Hats are a bit stiff for my taste, but I've been there.
I mean, how funky can you get with an upbeat hi-hat? I mean, but there is that extra one. Funky. I mean, like maybe if that had been syncopated instead of straight on the eighth note, it would have been.
Sometimes it's not always about using hats. Yeah. You could sample other
Oh, I see. Like not
instruments.
This is 909 drums all the way, but maybe something else would have been interesting. Is what you're saying. Trippy. Delay time automation. Like, I wish I could crank the speakers. I mean, for all of these tracks, I wish we were listening to them on our speakers, but
it's pretty loud
because of the mics and the feedback. And
am I still feeding back to you? I don't think so.
I mean, I was earlier hearing my voice through your headphones a little bit, but it seems to be okay now.
Yeah, this is cool. Cool track. It kind of has a sustaining level of like elements going on, but I don't hate it.
It's been kind of staying at one level for a little while. Like I feel like I need a lift somewhere. I think this is a situation where the pads are taking over the groove. You know what I mean? The atmospheric stuff.
Yeah, but I like the goulash of that. Yeah, like I said, the only critique I have is just mute the hat line. Start with new hats. That's my opinion. And sidechain all of this cool jiggly wiggly kind of like swashy kind of stuff is cool. Mm-hmm. But it needs to like it needs to be anchored.
All right, here's this part. In this part where all the whooshy stuff goes in the background, it's better. We need more of that. I think there's like 2.5 minutes of really washed out, and now it's coming back. In the break, it's fine to be all crazy like that and atmospheric. Let's hear what happens when the beats come back.
Yeah, I dig that. It's like a tape stop, or not tape stop.
It's a delay. Like, it's like tape delay, pitched up and down kind of tape delay effect, right?
I dig that. I mean,
this is cool. I like that it sounds different. Like all the noise in the background, it's got a different profile than every other track we've heard so far?
I think it's just a matter of like sidechain compression and like
getting it out of the way of the beats.
Like for my taste, like kind of different hats. Ride cymbals fine.
Oh,
yeah, different hat work.
So
I also end up like with the same similar sequence where it's kind of like not arpeggiated, but this kind of bass line that just does this thing.
Like maybe it could change a little more or do something different. The sound could change. It could get brighter and growlier or darker.
Well, you just change it from 8 to 16 or 32 and have those generative notes kind of have a more evolution. You know, one of the old tricks from the Andre Morant, Dietrich Schoenemann, Tony Rohr days is we would spend 3 days making long evolving parts.
Yeah.
So spend like 3 days just making long evolving parts, drum parts.
Like tracking all that?
Yeah, just like tracking stuff out and like building your own sample library. And then when it comes time to making tunes, you just slip stuff into the sequence and then find the automation points or the breakdowns and bam, you're off to the races. Whereas I think a lot of newer, well, I mean, I'm speculating and maybe over speculating. A lot of newer producers are like, okay, I've got a blank template. Now I'm going to finish a track. And I can't work like that anymore. I have to have like shit all diced up from the food processor and ready to go into the salad, you know, so I can like make the salad and feel the salad faster.
The salad, the Tim Xavier salad method.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if one could feel a salad, but you know,
depends
definitely
on the salad.
Right.
What is going on?
I don't know. Everything all at the same time.
Thank you, Steve Like. I mean, he's been a lot of these people we've heard from before, and Steve Like is one of them. And I definitely hear like the progression. I hear the development, and I love that. I love that. Like we're having repeat people coming back that are regular viewers that are submitting their tracks for these feedback sessions, and we're hearing their evolution. And I think Steve Like is definitely evolving in a good in the right direction. All right, we've got another one here now.
Keep it up, Steve Like.
Keep it up.
Keep it up.
Yes, Metaphase loves the great analogy, the salad shooter method. I love it.
It's the salad bowl. It's like what goes into the salad, you know, or like you would never make a bowl of cereal with orange juice.
No,
okay, that's a little bit weird. That's like
some people do that. I'm not a juice and cereal person. I'm definitely not. All right,
put ketchup on my spaghetti.
That's blasphemy. All right, we've got Buoys. It has a track called Control.
All right,
and here we go. Huh? Is it techno?
This is reminds me of God, what's that tune? I want to look it up, but I'm not. Reminds me of that
famous,
like David Morales
sound. Yeah, it's just, but we're listening
burning
to house now.
the lies again, burning the lies.
All right, so he's calling it a lower BPM techno submission, and I'm gonna say this is in a little bit of a no man's land. Like, is it techno? Is it house? Is it tech house?
Pump the brakes a little bit, John.
Let's
remember,
just listen.
Remember Svek?
Yes.
Remember Svek?
But was that techno?
It was traditionally a techno label based out of Sweden, and it had different flavors. So you'd have like
I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Okay.
No, I mean your gain is pretty hot, so you're good.
Okay, so I'm not gonna get any closer to the mic.
No, please.
Okay. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, but I dig it. I dig the composition. Good parts. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not about what I would play. It's all about the aesthetic and how all the different moving parts work together.
I think that chord stab's a little too loud compared to everything else.
Maybe by a couple dB, yeah.
It's well produced, mostly good vibe. It's a little sad sounding in a way.
Yeah, but I envy compositions like this because like someone took the time to like really listen and lay out like all these different elements to make sure that they click and work together.
And
so
you
I
don't
appreciate
do that? You just throw shit randomly in a salad?
Yeah. I'm a goulash salad guy. No, I definitely, my patience runs
I'm gonna
thin.
jump in a little bit.
Yeah, go on.
It's getting a little heavier now.
Yeah, the doubling, I'm not a huge fan of.
Might
for
be
like a
little
build up.
much.
It's kind of like, look at what I'm doing. Yeah.
Like, I get why you would do that. You want to ramp up the energy, and this is like a... And then we have our release, our break. I mean, okay. I think this is a nice track. I'm pretty firmly on the side of I wouldn't really call this techno. And it's just the vibe that it gives me. Not that there isn't deep, groovy, housey techno that sounds like this, but it's very borderline for me. And why is that? I'm trying even to think as I say that, and maybe that sounds harsh, but like, what isn't techno about it? How do we define that?
Well, my question to you is everything we're critiquing and listening to today supposed to be in the vein of Boom Chicka Boom?
Well, it's supposed to be a techno feedback session.
Okay,
and for sure, many different people have different opinions about what is more or less techno to them. And this is techno to somebody.
It's so funny. If I sent this to like Rebecca or one of those other DJs, they'd go, "Hey, I love your new ambient track."
Right? It's like there's this... It's like a chill, smooth listening experience.
But
right?
from like a production standpoint, all the parts
are
work.
techno-y. And
Like,
they do. Yeah. No, none of this is saying to say that it's bad. No. There's some things that could be improved. Like that part in the middle where it got a little busy, like doubling the chords.
Yeah, don't do that.
I felt like it was a little overkill. But investigate and listen to some tracks that do that, give that kind of energy, and how did they do it, right? Rather, is there another way to achieve an energy lift without just doubling the rate of the chords?
I want you to play a track of mine called "Have Mercy." I don't want to know what the kids think. But let's go.
We don't have time for you, Tim. Your time was the first 15 minutes.
Maybe that would be a thing. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, bro, but maybe have some producers on and be like, "Yo, check this out," But all right, go on.
We could do it. We could do that. All right, so we could have but let's talk about that later. We've got Image Disturbed Mechanism. Dark.
Kick it up.
I'm kicking it up. All right, read the last track. Absent is pointing out the 90s house organ bass. I think that is the single thing that makes it the least techno sounding, is that like 90s house organ bass. It makes it house music. I think that I'm gonna agree with that. But anyway, on to the new track.
I thought you said Oregon bass.
Oregon. It's a new thing. No more color bass. It's now Oregon bass. You don't even know what color bass is, do you, Tim?
It's brown.
It's something that the kids like. Some of the kids.
Oh, bass. Oh, I get it.
Yeah, but no, yeah, never mind.
I mean, so far so good. Is that like a hemiola? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. No, it's a 4.
It's a polymeter.
Is it a polyrhythm? No, it's not a polyrhythm. It's
a polymeter.
1, 2, 3.
That little synth line that's coming in. It's 3/16 notes against 4/4.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I like hypnotic stuff like this.
Taking its time.
I kind of wish I could turn it up a little bit.
How's that, Tim?
That works.
As long as people can still hear us talk.
Oh yeah. Now where's the clap on every beat?
I don't think you're gonna be satisfied if I don't think there's a steady clap in this one. I could be wrong. I'm guessing not. The little synth thing coming in. Obligatory 909 rides. I keep doing that. I want to avoid adding 909 rides to everything, but I keep doing it.
Well, there's a trick. You run the ride symbol through your console.
Uh-huh.
You slam the gain. I know Andre's like shaking his head right now. You run the ride symbol through a mono channel.
Yeah.
You slam the gain, and you just turn the fader up just a little bit, and the ride symbol goes from ding ding ding
Oh
to
yeah, no. With plugins you just saturate and overdrive it. Like it's the same thing.
can be the same thing. But there's a certain aesthetic you can get from even a cheap console.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to do it on a
Right.
Mackie.
Listen to the break. I mean, so far, like, this track is just giving what it's giving. Like, I haven't heard anything where I'm like, oh, fix that. It's pretty solid.
I like this, all the psychoacoustic, which is really popular. I mean, this kind of psychoacoustic.
Well, I want to just relate
melody
back
business.
to Steve Lythe's track was doing something similar, but I think the mix of this one is of that atmospheric stuff is. Sorry, I just talked over the break.
That's fine.
I just want to feel the moment. Yeah, I think like that was effective. It wasn't like whoa, but I don't think this track is supposed to be like that. It's just carrying on with the energy. It's not losing or gaining. It's just coming back.
I mean, all that psychoacoustic stuff that's happening with the kind of sort of subtle bleepiness. I don't even know how to do that. Like, I can't sit down and go, "Oh, I know how to make that thing." I have to.
I could show you.
Okay.
Sometime.
Maybe that's a different show.
It's a different show.
Show producers how to produce.
You teach each other. No, like, because you do stuff that I don't do, and I do stuff that you don't do, and so then, you see what I'm getting at?
I see what you're getting at.
It's like, oh, you like that? How about this? So this would be like a battle to see who could do the coolest trick. But anyway, I think this track is cool. It's a little, like, it's definitely kind of chill. It's not a dance floor rocker. It's a warm-up. It's a late night. It's an ambient techno track. It's a hypnotic techno track. I think it sounds good. I think Steve Lythe's track could use a similar mix on all the whooshy mid-range stuff, so it's a little more in the background and not getting in the way of the groove as much. I just noticed that similarity of the continuous ambience in the background. But yeah. This is good.
I have to hear it on proper speakers, but otherwise,
again, yeah, hearing this loud in a big room or on a big system is going to make a big difference.
However, I do like when the melody and the notes and like everything that's making that's like, I'll go back to the psychoacoustic term. Like, when that's forward, it's better to have it more forward than all the way in the background.
Yeah.
So, all right. So here's the deal.
There's a deal.
We're going on like an hour and 17 minutes, and I'm loving it. But
do you have to go?
I have to run around the corner and use the boys' room, and I'll be right back.
You didn't have to say that. You could have just said, "Hey, I'll be right back."
I think Amazon's at my door. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay, but I'm gonna keep going if you don't mind. I'm gonna move on to our next one, and then all right. So it's just me, and Tim's got to do his look. Let's just get a close up of Tim doing his thing. No. All right. Anyway, that was a nice track, Marsh. Thank you very much. Let's move along. We've got, it's Bill. This is Xenopus with a melodic techno track. Let's see what he's got for us this time. Tim Xavier. Is it Xavier or Xavier? This is our melodic techno moment, I think. That was quick.
Okay, I'm back.
Are you ready for some melodic techno?
Yeah, who we got now? What's the name?
So, this is Xenopus, guy by the name of Bill. He's a former 343 student. I've had him in classes, and nice guy. More commercial producer, I would say. He got really into liquid drum and bass for a little while, and I guess this is Bill's take on techno.
And it's well produced, that's for sure.
Well, he's always had a really good ear for his mix and making these kind of polished commercial sounding mixes. Lots of the right plugins used properly.
Yeah, it's not my jam. I mean, I respect it. I respect good production. I would most definitely, I mean, if this is a techno show, nice take on techno.
Is it techno? Compared to what we've been hearing. It depends on how much of a purist you are. Does it have techno influenced elements? Absolutely. One thing I can say, having heard Bill's music over a few years now, is that he's definitely learned how to maintain the groove. Like some earlier examples of Bill's music that we heard in class were very like pop song structured and a lot of things changing very often. And there's still that element here, but the groove is being maintained more consistently, and that's something I always was trying to get him to do in class, was like, if you're going to make dance music, that groove has to be there and going forward, even if you're doing all sorts of other melodic changes on top. So I think he's achieved that here.
I mean, it's cool. It's got more of a progressive trance vibe.
Yeah, it's kind of,
in my opinion.
And he calls it melodic techno. If you compare this to like an Afterlife record, it's not. It has similar elements, but the arrangement is different. It's still more on sort of a pop arrangement style, rather than these extended dramatic breaks that they do in those more typical melodic techno tracks. But it has some of the elements. I hear that. All right.
Next.
It's almost done. We got a 3.5 minute track out of Bill. So nice work, Xenopus. Definitely, as I was saying, you've come a long way, and you have good production. All right, what have we got next? We have America. Oh, this is fun. This is Americans Invented Techno. That is the username here on the Discord. Let's check out his link. Visit site. And this track was not found. Is this a troll? Have we been trolled? Very funny. All right, maybe you took your track down, but let's move along. We now have DJ Hi-Hat, Missile Over Soon. Now, he says he doesn't know if this counts as techno, but it's EDM at least. So let's see. Let's see where we're at with Missile Over Soon.
Put my seatbelt on. How many viewers do you have, John?
I haven't looked at the stats. Should I check the stats?
I don't know. I'm curious.
I'll do it while we listen to decide whether this is techno or not.
Yeah, I remember a time like when I first started producing tracks, I demoed my first 6 to 7 tracks, and Angel Alanis was the first one to listen to my stuff. And he was like, it's like, I see where you're going with it. I'm not saying it's terrible, just go back to the drawing board and make tracks that sound like the stuff that you play.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
So at the end of the day, if this person is making tracks that sound like stuff that they play or they fancy or they like,
doesn't matter.
More power
what it
to
is.
them.
I mean, so far,
But-
I'm not hearing a techno track. It's some subgenre of EDM that has some ravey kind of elements to it, right? What kind of music is this, everybody? It's like it's almost like hard rave techno, but like kind of light at the same time.
It's not my vibe.
It's mixed well. I'm gonna jump in a little bit.
Situations turn out better than we thought they would. The sun usually rises.
I mean, it's a good
in the
mix.
dark. Just hold
The
on.
all the elements work well together. The melody is cohesive. It's not overly complex. I would say, like, if you want in whatever genre this is, if you want this to stand out more, a little more variation in the sounds, maybe. Like, that's something you could take from techno.
If you're feeling low, remember what I'm about to
All right.
say.
I don't love the bendy lead part here.
If the world seems that it's at an end, that your time of death is nearer than it
This is one of those situations where if you hear me get really quiet,
You're like, you don't have anything to say.
I can't. I mean, it's not that. It is what it is. For what it is, it's great, and I'm not going to diss it. What is he saying? More sub? Or mercy? More mercy!
Missile. I'm guessing. I mean, that's the name of the track. I mean, that's the only thing it
Missile.
could be,
All
right?
right. Oh yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so I mean, if we're honest, it's not our cup of tea stylistically. I think, this producer has a pretty good idea of what he's doing. It's solid, right? Arranged well. I feel like energy level could be a little bit, like, I feel like when the drops happened, they're not enough. Like they weren't like, like everybody, they were a little. I felt flat on when the beats came in, and why is that? Like, genre-wise or not? I'll challenge you, Tim. What do you think as a producer he would need to do generally to make those drops where the lead and the kick drum come in be more powerful or more
Usually
effective?
in tracks like that, I would expect more like after a drop, when the synths come back in, you double down with another synth in the same key,
like layer it,
yeah, on
like
top
a bigger,
of,
yeah.
So it's like
A more aggressive, more energetic lead
and then
sounds.
it breaks, and it's like da da ja ba ba ba
Yeah,
da,
bigger. And then
Yeah.
I feel like the kick was a little plodding. I feel like the kick needed a little more energy. Whether
see,
whether
that's the
a
thing,
sound
though.
design thing or a mixing thing, or you need a different kick. Like I feel like this was kind of slow, light, hard style. You know what I mean? Like it's not melodic techno. It's melodic hard style or some other similar hard genre that has big, heavy kick drums. The kick drum wasn't enough. Like, listen to some tracks that have those big, brutal, punchy, ravey, distorted kick drums, and like find something like that and layer that in there. Maybe that'll give it the energy that you want.
But I think in this track, yeah, sure, why not? I mean,
this will be the last comment before we move on.
You could go either way, but I don't think the kick carries that track. That's not the point.
But it has the way that the melody and that dun 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 da da da. It's very like straight marching rave music, and the kick drum has to go bang bang bang, like more power. No, or whatever. Let's go on to the next one. Anyway,
I'm gonna keep the lid on the salad on that one.
Yeah, thanks,
go
DJ
on.
Hi-Hat.
Thank you, Hi-Hat.
Now we have Contour Invasion. Oh yeah, see, now we're back in techno world, like right away. Set that groove. Anyway, there's 30 people viewing right now at the moment, Mr. Tim Xavier.
Okay.
Answering your question of earlier.
I guess 30's better than none, right?
Well, that's just live right now. They'll probably get 1,000 people over the course of a few weeks. It is archived. People do watch these things later. Hi, everybody watching now who wasn't here live. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, this is cool.
Hey, that's our second little reverse thing that I've heard today. Reverse kick fill.
Are you like taking notes? You got like a little sticky note over there?
It's like what trends are happening in techno right now.
That's cool. I dig this.
The 303 is calling.
The 303 with the cavernous 303. Yeah. So today the show is sponsored by P2. Kidding.
Today the show is sponsored by 343 Labs Music Production School.
Oh, that's right. Oops.
And Man-Made Mastering. This is... I feel like there was just some sneaky little duck that went wah, 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 behind me. It's like the little rubbery acidy things.
Yeah, but I'm a huge fan of like the 303 drenched in reverb. I'm down with that.
Sure. Delay, reverb, bring it on. And like, it's an acid track without being an acid track, like in your face, you know? It's just like here and there, sneaking in. Very filtered clap.
It's more like a smack.
This is mixed really well, I think. It's like heavy and clean and round. It's not like... What does this remind me of? There's some tracks I've heard in the past that this reminds me of.
This reminds me of like if Oliver Lieb was still making tracks. Kind of like on that like intelligent trance vibe, but not...
that could be a little bit of what I'm thinking.
You gotta, use the word trance very lightly in this scenario.
I mean, there's trance as a genre, and then there's hypnotic, trancey vibe. Different. That's different. All right, I like it. By this point, I wish something more exciting had happened. Maybe.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's just a steady tune,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely in a DJ set. You could be working this in with other stuff and playing around with it. The groove, the energy is maintained really well. It doesn't need a big break and build in the middle.
I would rather have
element. Here's a new element. I was like, that could have happened earlier. That kind of percussive thing that's coming in, polymetric, like...
Yes and no, but
so this is like 4 minutes in on a 6-minute track. I think that could have come in the first half and then gone away and then come back.
I appreciate the patience. You got to back it up. All right.
No, I didn't back it up. I'm moving into the end because I think we've heard most of what it does. But anyway, I can tell already that this mix is going to sound really great on a big system. It's like very well balanced.
Yeah.
And again, the energy good, rhythm's good, groove's good. It felt like kind of an in-between. Like if I was playing this in a DJ set, I would use this as a transition record. Like if I wanted to go from deeper to harder or from harder back down to deeper, something like this would be in the middle. Because it's it's deep, but also heavy and driving at the same time.
I feel like that's more of like either an opener or like an after hours tune.
Or as said, a transitional record in maybe in a longer set, where you're playing for like 3 hours or 4 hours and you need to like take it down for a minute because everybody's getting tired.
I don't know if they're getting tired these days.
Nope. It's just us old men. Let's move along. Anyway, thank you very much, Contour. Cool track. We've heard from Contour before, if I remember correctly. Now we have Maldita Vista, Vision de la Polla.
Oh,
why are you making French noises when it's Spanish?
Oh.
Ooh, banging right off.
Hello.
No intro, just hello, yeah.
I appreciate that.
I know, that's one of the first things you said earlier. It starts with a kick drum. Love it.
Well, not just with a kick drum, but it dives into the track. Like, you don't need all this setup.
Yeah.
Like, there's kind of like, when the track starts, is it enough or too much for the DJ to be able to start to work with it? That was always the question back in the day. Because a lot of art tunes, like, they just dive right in. It's like, not in the middle of the crescendo or whatever. Actually, back in the day, we didn't even really work things up. It was just like kind of a lot of trackiness, and then like maybe a couple of special dynamic parts would happen in the middle of the tune somewhere to give it this dynamic pop. But otherwise, at the end of the day, it's a tool, no? Yeah, this is dope. Breakdown maybe happens a little bit prematurely, but yeah, all good.
Silver Knobs is saying he loves the bass. I agree. I like that little wobble bounce thing that it's doing.
It's got like a growl to it.
Yeah, it's good. And then there's all this. This is actually polyrhythmic. We talked about polymeter before. This is actually doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's doing 3 against 2 or 6 against 4. True polyrhythm. I like this one.
Yeah, sick.
Another one that's mixed really, really well.
I know I've said it before, but this I would play. I would download and play.
Agreed. It's like, it's hypnotic, but it still changes enough that it keeps your interest. I like that weird, like, pitch down voice that just came in.
And it's just a snippet.
It doesn't even matter what it says, right? It's just like this little froggy growl in the background. With some delay. Oh.
Nice.
Woo. Yeah. Oh, is it saying music? It's just saying music. Another track with using feedback and modulation on the delay time.
Tape delay-ish.
I always love that.
And then it gets all like crescendoing and adds up. Come on, baby, give it to me.
This better pay off.
It better.
Now here we go. That's kind of a bonkers image. Cross your fingers.
That would be hilarious if like one of your producers did like a Rickroll and just it went right into Rick Ashley.
Don't give him ideas.
That would be great.
Okay, this is one of the best tracks we've heard today. Like, this is totally like, this should go in a DJ set.
Yeah, by far.
I just want to point out right here. Oh, I'm going to be really critical, as good as this track is, about this moment. I don't think that did it. I don't think that drop was
the two-step
effective.
on the drum?
Didn't hit, right?
I'm okay with it though, because I would rather it do that than have it be messy. And
I don't want it to be messy.
I've definitely done messy.
That extra kick drum right before the first beat of the next bar was the mistake. I don't think it needs to go dun boom. I think it should just. I would rather have silence there or like a slight little hesitation. I would rather have nothing there than that extra kick drum. I think that little detail alone, just removing that one kick drum, would make that hit better.
Well, I mean, what's the producer's name again?
Maldita Vista.
Maldita Vista.
Maldita Vista.
You heard it from John. Take the kick out. It's just one kick, man.
Just right there. The rest of the track is so good.
Work, lady.
Let's hear here. Here's another little break. See, right there, he didn't do it. It was better.
Right.
And the hi-hat came in. See, imagine from here and then to this. Better energy.
In the mastering world, we would say that you're splitting hairs. On
maybe, but when you're making a track that's this close to so dope, go the last mile and make it perfect.
True.
You know? Anyway,
true,
really good track. Yeah. Thank you very much. Let's move along. We've got Hadal Zone 11. Creepy skeleton hands.
Oh, I didn't see the graphic. Now I'm looking over there. I can see the graphic. Oh, okay. I was going to wear my Misfits shirt today, but I think I wore it last time on your show, so I didn't do it. Cool, I dig this. It's like dark, kind of industrial vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely a space for this in the ethos of techno.
Sharp, zappy kick. Almost, dare I say, psytrance kick.
Oh, it's like the laser kick. Yeah, it's got like a little bit of a yeah, but the sharp kick, like, it does this track justice. Whereas
you don't think there should be more low end?
I mean, for something I would play, yes, but if this is someone's composition,
style of techno tends to be more mid-range kicks.
Yeah.
I want to say it's in that kind of psychedelic techno direction, but industrial at the same time.
I'm not a big fan of the but
wait, what was that? Do that again, Tim. I'm gonna come back and sample that later.
But for what this is,
no, it's well
from
done.
the producer standpoint, it is in its own genre. It's great.
I almost want this to be halftime, like boom, ka, boom, ka. But then we have this little knock in the background. Someone's at the door.
Someone's at the door.
Well, that's got to be a sample from a movie. That guy talking. This may be taking too long.
Yeah.
Energy is good. I like the buzzy sound. I think, let's jump in a little bit. All right, biggest thing I would say to this guy. All right, this is good overall for the genre. kick drum needs work. But what most needs to happen is that you got that up and down sustained melody in there the whole time, pretty much. Like this would be way more effective here if you got rid of the melody and just let it be bass and noise and kick drums.
Yeah.
And I think like there needs to be, I know it's a genre thing, it's a style thing, that there is techno like this that's kind of industrial and more mid-rangey and dirty. It needs more low end. Like it needs more like a not like a rumble necessarily, and maybe not even that typical like 16th note like pulsing bass that you hear in a lot of more kind of psychedelic techno or whatever, but like some low end energy under the kick, in between the kicks, to drive the groove, I think would be really helpful with this. What do you think, Tim?
I think you should roll the next track.
All right. Onward and upward. Hey, we got Silver Knobs with a YouTube video. So yeah, Silver Knobs HMDT. Tim may not know, stands for Handmade Detroit Techno. He pretty much does everything on hardware in real time. This isn't DAW production. It's like straight to tape, you know. And let's actually open this up on YouTube and check out his jam live. This is cool.
It's very cool. I think you're gonna have to back it up for me. I'll be right back. Amazon's at the door. Hang on.
Seriously? Sounds nice.
I swear to God, I think they think I'm like the package handler.
Wait, were you serious? Like that was a really like a delivery?
Yeah. Like I'm the package handler. So like they all come to my place and like, can you take a package for your neighbor?
In that accent?
In that accent, yeah.
Let's focus on the track. Can you see on? Well, you got the stream open next to you. You can see the video, right?
Word. I'm looking over there.
Looks cool. And so far, so deep and groovy and spacey, and I like it.
Yeah, it's sick. He's got that old electribe kicking.
Mm-hmm.
Dig it. Is that an MC303? The old groove box?
Looks like it.
Nice.
He's got all the old stuff.
That's like real vintage, but like, hey, so actually I think you could still buy an MC303 on like Reverb. Yeah, this is my shit. I'm down. And it's cool. It's like, it's very it's got a lot of texture.
Mm-hmm. And this is like, I find it difficult to make music like this in a DAW. You can do it, you can emulate the setup, but it doesn't come out the same. There's something about the workflow that lends itself to this kind of thing in hardware more so than software. Of course, that's all in your head. You can totally make software do this.
No, it's true. You can definitely have a different, like, sequential kind of evolution with different instruments as they're being played live. The one critique I have against that is that when you want to work drums, I have to edit in the box and like have compression in the session.
Yeah.
That's like working against everything and like sort of bringing the better parts out of it. But otherwise, yes, working in all hardware is very in vogue.
Well, sure, of course. And I would, if I were to do this, I would make sure I can track everything in the DAW.
Well, and I think that, so in the mastering world,
let's hear what the music's doing here real quick.
Okay, cool.
I hear a change because we've been talking over it.
Got some chords coming in.
It's busy, but it's still good.
Well,
techno way that works.
Oh, I think I lost you for a second. My internet picked up.
You know,
it had a hiccup.
The internet it's doing that thing. I'm gonna see if I can improve
Like, it's a dope jam. There's one tone that's like almost like a bowl.
Yeah.
You know, like a resonant bowl sound that needs to come down by.
You feel like it's a little much?
3 or 4 decibels.
Or it should come
bring
in
it
and
down.
out. It's the kind of sound that you easily forget is playing while you're doing all the other stuff with the hardware. All right.
Oh, that would be cool. Like ping pong claps on every beat.
Another melodic element. I just jumped in just a minute.
That's
Or a
Millsy
few
as fuck.
seconds. I like it. But that it's kind of, it sounds like a hard sync kind of a sound.
Well, what's weird is on my end, the track is like, well, was like speeding up and slowing down because of the
call, yeah.
The internet. But yeah. So I thought for a second, like, wow, cool, you pitch bend your whole setup. Like,
all right. No, this is cool. This is very, I mean, we've heard music from Silver Knobs before. This is definitely on par. It sounds good. I you know, your sound comes from hardware and jamming live, and that's great. If you were ever to get into a situation where you want to like multi-track record your stuff, you could go like to the next level. You could do your cool grooves and jams like this with all the interesting changes and the organic flow that you have with your hands on the machines, but then go back and like go crazy with it sometimes, or improve the mix, or maybe when there was a jam and you brought a sound in too early by mistake or whatever, you could fix that, right? If you multi-track it. Just an idea. I know I've said that to you before, but also do your thing. You could do this live at a party and it would be great. So,
well, I also think there's like something special about doing one takes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you believe in your craft and what you're doing, and you want to do one takes, hit record, bam, that's your shit. You know, like, I mean, commitment is one of the number one aspects of production, period. Do
Totally.
I commit to this, or do I want to go back and edit it? I just implemented this Tascam multi-track. I mean, basically it's like an audio card, essentially. So I can monitor my DAW, so I know what's going on in my DAW, A, and B, I've got multiple channels recording different pieces of gear. So I can do like a one take and then go back and fix something if editing needs to be done. Everyone knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
Everybody knows what you're talking about. Let's move forward. We've got 7 or 8 more. I think our there was that link that didn't work before. Who was that again? Americans Invented Techno. He popped into the chat and he reposted his track on SoundCloud. So we'll give him a chance. Thank you very much for that. We've got now Camel P, aka The Influence. And actually that's it says Pie Cuts. Which one is it? Camel P is the person in the chat. Hey, what's up? Pie Cuts, is that the artist name? And Drainage is the name of the track. Let's check it out.
We all know what that means.
Do it.
Drainage. Maybe not you. Is this a kid's show?
This is not for kids. We are all grown-ups here. Childish adults.
I dig this.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
Fruit Loops. Not Fruity Loops. Just, it's bananas.
Thanks for clarifying that.
God, it would be great to have Mark Verbose on this show with us 3.
Absolutely.
All right.
I would love to have multiple guests again.
He's
worried,
absolutely
though,
hilarious.
I'm worried we might have to use a different platform than the one that you're on with me, because since my computer's been having problems with multiple streams in and out, maybe I just need a new computer. I've done it before. I've had 4 people on the show before. I had you and Tony together too. So anyway, this is a cool track. overlapping polymetric sequences. It's slow, but it's intense.
I dig it.
I like all the sounds. The mix is great. I wonder if that higher lead synth is just a little bit too loud, though. Because the lower one I like so much, and it's getting kind of covered up. But here, okay, see, it's going down again. That's good. Like, that level's better for me. Very interesting interactions between those melodies.
Yeah, sci-fi.
Definitely.
I like the low-end drums that come in.
It sounds good without that initial other lower melody. I still think that the brighter lead is a little too loud. Just a touch.
So maybe this person like went back and like worked on the track really quick and then like uploaded the link. They're like, oh shit, I gotta go fix something.
Oh no, this isn't the one where the link was missing. This is
got it.
That's
got it.
down
Cool.
at the bottom. This
Got it.
This is another person.
Another person there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool track. I think I'm seeing some concurring opinions in the chat about that loud lead line. Like, I like it, but there's a lot of it. I could use a little less of it, or maybe coming in and out more, or having it filter down more often, or something. Otherwise, great track. I've heard good tracks from Camel P before. This is no exception. Nice one. So here we go. Who is next? Audio Muscle, Hallucinogenic. I know that hi-hat.
What
Back
tempo
into
is
the
that?
dark space again. That is definitely the
like
Ableton Live DS hat synth. It's definitely setting up some tension. We are in sci techno world now, aren't we? Psychedelic techno world.
Yeah, but you know, I have a couple clients who I do psytrance mastering for. And when it's good, it's good.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm not a big fan of like the really transient, sharp bass drum, because it's like a bass drum with no real low end backing.
Well, I mean, similar to that other kind of more industrial psychedelic techno track before. It needed more low end on the kick, or in general. But I think also a lot of this music is more mid range focused. No? Like I said before. You know, it's a good arrangement. Timing of the parts coming in and out is effective. Nice ambience in this break and this new synth coming in.
You know, it's nighttime here, so I had to turn on some lights.
And now you're really bright. I'm gonna jump in a little bit. I was like wondering if a new element was going to come in, and we found it. All right. I mean, overall, it's a very well done production. Actually, just one last little thing. Right here, the whole time it's just got that going up and down in the semitone melody, right? But right here, it sounds like there's like a pad with a bigger chord coming, and it sounds more expansive. That's a nice little touch right there. Sort of layering and sound design wise.
This is one of those tracks where...
Yeah, go ahead.
This is one of those tracks where I would like mute the kick and mute the hats and just listen to the soundscape.
Sure. It's funny, if you take the 16th note sort of psytrance groove away from it and just listen to the synths and the pads and the effects, it's like a kind of a cool space music, right?
It's gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah, it's good production, good sounds.
I have that same kind of inflection with my own stuff where I'll make a tune and like the drums and the hats and like the skeleton of what's like pushing the tune doesn't really work. Mm-hmm. And I'll just I'm like mute, and then listen to like all the different parts working together, save a new session, and then just rework all the drums. Aesthetically or stylistically, that is what it is, and it works, in my opinion.
Aaron Hedges is looking at you.
What's up, Tumbleweave? What's up, Tumbleweave?
I'm zooming in really close on his face.
she calls me Butch Queen.
Here we go.
I'm Butch Queen.
And this track is called Two Bad Bitches.
That's right.
Where's that volume? Let's give him some volume.
Kick up the volume.
Some amplitude.
I got mad love for Aaron Hedges. That's my boy. We have this like funny thing where when we're in public, I call him Tumbleweave and he calls me Butch Queen.
I can't pretend to understand that, but hey.
That's okay. Yeah, dope. So far, so good.
Oh.
I mean, I knew Aaron's track was going to be like a bit houseier than
it is housey,
the rest,
but that's some dirty, nasty synth business going on right now, which I like.
And Aaron's very vast in like being knowledgeable on like different pieces of gear and how they work and how to implement them, and processing as well.
That sounds really cool. It's got some funk to it, no?
Funk, swing, attitude. Although, and he knows this, I would like work on the kick drum structure to get it like a bit punchier.
I mean, it sounds punchy because there's ducking on everything, because it kind of sticks out, but it doesn't thump. And maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe it's supposed to be smooth and about the bass. But I wouldn't mind a little more thump underneath there with the bass groove, right?
But it's not like fuddled. It's clear.
And then sometimes you don't need big banging kick drums, right? Like this might be. I mean, this one I would love to hear this in a club to know how it works. It might be more effective than it seems in your headphones.
Oh, I just released an EP on Donnell Knox's Sonic Mind label.
Oh, you sent that to me, but the link expired.
Donnell Knox.
Can you send it again?
I will send it again. Donnell Knox
is WeTransfer making it shorter to 3 days.
Oh, is it? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to tell him. Well, no, you could choose 7 days, but I think that's a little bit uncool because I've sent it off to a couple people today. But no, Donnell is very instrumental in like choosing the B2 vibed out kind of tracks.
Yeah.
And that's like when I hear this, I get the B2 like deep vibe business.
I think it's really good. I mean, this is a cool vibe. It's unique. It doesn't sound like a lot of other tracks out there, which is, not easy to do. It's a good low slung, yeah, like you say, kind of a B-side
Low
groove.
slung.
What if, though, it had a little bit more going on top? Like some kind of lead element or something to grab your attention. Or I would say, I'm just going to pause for effect right now. I did a remix recently, and I sent it to Abe Duque to just get his feedback on it, because he's a person who I trust. And he said, it's good, it sounds great, it's got a good groove, but it needs a what the fuck moment. And when we first put this track on, that weird sliding bass comes in, and that's like, oh, that's kind of a what the fuck is that moment. But then it goes by that same groove for 4 minutes without another, oh, something's happening, what is that kind of a moment.
And the thing is, you only need one what the fuck moment. It's like, hit the brakes, and then like you get back into the groove.
Was the burp part of it?
Oh, did I burp?
It's bodily function day on Techno Saturday.
Did I burp?
It sounded like it. I'm sorry, I embarrassed you. Poor Tim. Nice. Well, you're funky just like
dude. It
Aaron
is
Hedges,
Saturday night.
Two bad bitches.
Yeah, well, it's Saturday night. It is 21 o'clock. For those who know military time, it's 2100 hours. So
that's right. That's dinner time, isn't it? All right, let's.
I get my P2.
I know we didn't listen to the entirety of Aaron's track. It's good. We like it. I like the vibe. It's sleazy. I'd say it's sleazy, in a good way. Which
I just know Aaron's like laughing. He's laughing his tits off right now.
I think he does. That's what he deserves. All right, let's get on to the next one. This is Bugle with Charians or Charians or something like that. Let's check it out.
Charians. All I can tell you, John, is if we're gonna keep busting up tracks tonight, I'm gonna have to make a couple trips to the refrigerator, if you know what I mean.
We got 5 more, and we could go a little faster if you want. We can.
No, that's fine. Take your time. It's just that I might disappear for a second. That just means that I'm grabbing a beer, or Amazon's at the door.
Still in the side tech world, I suppose.
Yeah, a little bit of a galloping bass drum kind of deal here.
Well, and in this case, the kick drum's got thump. This isn't that little knock on the door, that laser zap. This has got some bass. I like that.
The laser zap, yeah.
Compulsive cycles.
And I just want to, this is apparently Bugle's first time ever posting for feedback. He says he never had the guts before. Welcome, thank you. I appreciate you doing this here for the first time. I understand.
Well, the thing is about the situation is that, for instance, with Bugle, we don't have the context of like what he wants to sound like, or what he plays, or what his style is.
Yeah.
So the only thing we have to go on is like what we hear right now. So far, like acoustically, it's fine. It's got the mix is great, galloping bass line, whatever. But I remember, like, in the movie Sample, yeah.
Wait, let him talk.
Or ruling them. 50%. Gone. 50%. Gone.
Okay. I hear what you're trying to get into there.
You hear where you picking up what I'm putting down?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's cool. It's just that, like, we don't know, like, where he wants to go with this.
I think I can kind of tell based on the style of the music and the beats. I think I can tell what he's trying to do. And I think he's most of the way there. Like, this little melodic part is good. It's a good solid hook. It's catchy. It's a little bit of an earworm. I would say the spoken word stuff needs to be developed better.
50%.
Like, it sounds incongruous a little bit. That's what I'm not. That if there's anything, I'm not sure what that's getting at. I'm not sure what the meaning of that is.
You are the biggest issue in your life.
Could there be a more interesting way to treat the vocal, to process that vocal?
Yeah, slim it down and not use it so often.
And then just going back to this break in the middle, like, it gets very quiet.
The compulsions of the body, the compulsions of their thought, the compulsions
Yeah,
of
time
their
stretching it to
emotions
be slower, that would be good.
ruling them.
To make it more stretched out for sure. This whole part is nice, but like a little too empty in a way. And maybe the timing of these repetitions of the voice and where they are relative to where the beats drop in need some work. Because I don't get the sense of build-up or tension happening. It's just kind of stops and starts again. Do you know what I mean? So you know, a little stylistically outside of our wheelhouse, you'd probably agree, Tim, but like well done, well mixed, overall arrangement and processing of the spoken vocals, I think, especially in the break. A little more development on that, I think, would be really useful. But anyway, thanks, Bugle, for submitting for the first time. Welcome.
Thank you.
And let's keep moving forward. We've got Itzik, who's another regular. And this is an evocative title, Techno 124 V1.08B, Arrangement V1.2, Mix V0.01.
Wow. Ooh. See, I like already
Starts with attitude. It's like
how fucked up that sounds. Like,
well, it's tripping over itself in a good way. It's like bruh, bruh, bruh.
All right, John, you're gonna have to
It's
carry
wonky.
you have to carry the vibe for 30 seconds. I'll be back.
Yeah, just go get something from me at the 7-Eleven. Actually, he's in Berlin. They don't have those. I like how this starts. I'm feeling tense and anxious. Like, what's going on? I like the sound of that kick. Either it needs to be louder or it needs more low end or something maybe. Or maybe it's good. I don't know. This might be another need to hear it on a system thing.
Oh yeah, I'm back.
What you get me from the Spady?
I got you a Sternberg, Berlin's finest.
Lovely. All right. This
Which
is
is
some crazy
basically-
stuff. Yeah, what were you saying?
Oh no, I was just saying that this is like if you bought a beer in Berlin and it said beer across the label, that's what this would be. A Sternberg, a Sterny,
perfect.
what they call them.
Sterny, okay. So
But this is
crazy wonky stuff going on here.
well, I'm listening, and I like it. I feel like we're summoning. Oh my god!
I'm making the face to this music.
In a way, I feel like we're summoning a little bit of. Oh my god! Let the names come to me. A little bit of. Brain fart! Huge brain fart.
We're talking like late 90s, early 2000s weird techno.
Yeah. Like. Oh man, my brain is just like
Christian
totally...
Vogel.
Christian Vogel. So I was gonna say Christian Vogel. And who's the other cat who lived in Brooklyn for a while that we all love? Spaces and Cities on Scandinavia. Neil Landstrom. That's right. It's like a less dirty version of Neil Landstrom. Tobias Schmidt. Yeah, man.
I agree. But I also I want this track to have more low end, more bottom, more. More bass in the kick drum.
Yeah, but that's like an audio acoustic conversation. At the moment now, I mean, like, stylistically, this is beep bop. I love that.
Luminous Cloud disagrees. He doesn't hear Landstrom or Vogel.
Okay, well.
I mean, maybe I'm not saying that they're copies of them, but
No, it's just kind of vibe-wise.
It's
Yeah,
kind of tweaky and wonky and crazy, messy.
dude. If you played this in a set with Tobias Schmidt, Neil Landstrom, and Christian Vogel, it would fit.
Yeah,
No doubt.
but I still want more low end. I still want more junk in the trunk.
But I like it.
And then, it hasn't changed that much. The energy level goes up and down, so things are automating, coming in and out.
But I prefer to hear this than like the galloping bass drum kind of like stuff, that there's a certain level of like, I'm in Miami trying on clothes at H&M and there's a tune playing over the PA. Okay, maybe that's a bit strong, but...
All right, this is some crazy stuff. Where are we in the track? We're almost to the end, so I think we're good. We can kind of come down for a landing. Nice work. Itzek, as usual, you make some crazy stuff and not so crazy track titles. He needs a good track title, everybody. Let's give him some good ideas for this track, which currently is called 124 V1.08B arrangement V1.2 mix V0.01. But it sounds much more interesting than the title. So we just needed some good concepts for Itzek for his track. All right, let's keep plugging on. This is BLZS Bionic 9 version 3, also with the versions. Let's go. Oh, this sounds like back earlier in the show. We were in this vibe, right?
Bisschen mehr Pegel.
Clean mix, right?
Ooh, I like the if you pick that up just a couple dB. I like the crickets and the stuff in the background.
Yeah, there's like these little high frequency, little chirpy things going on back there, right? It's like we're out in the grain forest.
Yeah. Oh, I dig this. This is dope. This reminds me of like Primate. Cats are dope. Oh yeah, this is cool. I don't know if this is like the more beers and shit I drink, but damn.
This is good.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Tim. This is the longest feedback session we've ever done on this show.
You're welcome. No, it's been fun, man. This is great. I love this.
So
I wish I had a green screen like you. I gotta join the green screen crowd.
it's a whole can of worms, man, because you can't just get a green screen. You have to get good lighting, and you need a camera that can be set properly so that it doesn't keep changing and fluctuating, because then the green screen doesn't work.
Did you just say I have to spend €1,000 on something?
Yes.
Oh.
To do it right, yeah. You can do it cheap too, it just doesn't look as good. Anyway, I like this track. Good arrangement. Let's hear what the break does.
Yeah, this reminds me. It reminds me of a track I own.
I like the
reminds
little.
me of.
There's new sounds sneaking in.
Oh, it reminds me of Headroom. Old Headroom.
Yeah. I like the shakery thing with the short hi-hat. Like,
They shake her up on the up. Yeah, boy.
nice. jump in a little bit. I knew the rides were going to come in. I knew it. It's the logical next step.
Well, that's the thing. It's not about a ride coming in. It's like, what will the ride do?
Sure.
I'm a big fan of like the smashed ride that sweeps. So you can do like a frequency sweep. So it's more like sheer.
Yeah, it's like a little shine on top of everything. And you got to process it right with the effects and everything.
You got to process it right. Yeah.
This is a good track. Already Metaphase in the chat says, send to Truncate. I'm sure he'd release it. Like, it is in that world, right? Yeah.
It's on point with that, for sure.
Nice. So this is definitely solid track. I would play it. Good mix. Crickets. It's got everything.
Crickets, yeah. There's
right.
like this. Do you remember this like old 80s track? And it was like, it had a frog. It was like, ribbit, ribbit. It's getting closer. Ribbit, ribbit.
No.
It's getting closer. Now you probably don't.
All right.
Anyway, go on. Next. What are we doing?
Other than the one we skipped because the link was not good, that was our last track. We're gonna sneak in that one that was missing, and this is Zach Saylor on Discord as Americans Invented Techno. Let's give this one a listen. Huh.
Very Matthew Johnson-y.
I like the glidey
Playful.
little, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat named the track with the frogs, Hope, Tree Frog. Was that it?
Yeah. It was like an older tune that came out in like 88. I can't find it on YouTube anywhere. It probably doesn't sound that great after all this time, but
I
know Andre knows it.
It's clean and crispy and nice details. We got nice shiny shakers again, like the last one. Interesting fill. Gonna jump in a little bit. I feel like that little turnaround at the end, the melody variation was a little busy.
You have to back it up.
It'll happen again. It's interesting having that little flute sort of drone in the background. I mean, this track is unique. It doesn't sound like other people. That's saying something.
Yeah, for sure. I dig the atmospherics. Especially like the streamlined tone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about it is that little variation at the end of the section where the low notes come in. It sounds a little muddy to me. That part. But maybe that's just me being picky. Hey, there you got your clap on every kick drum.
Oh yeah, I like that. Although I think the kick could be a little bit higher in the mix.
That's another thing I was thinking is maybe the kick could be more defined, a little more
and
punchy.
definitely a bit more sidechain.
And then
like
also the bass is a little lost in the background a little bit. It could be a little bit more on the low end work. Yeah. I think I'm also ready for that main lead to not be in there. Like right there would be a nice place for it to just go away. Or a variation of it that's less busy. Or filter it down. Let the bass feature more here. That might be good. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I'm just listening.
Okay.
I'm jamming.
Ooh. So that little spot where it did that little glitchy thing and then did the low busy change,
reminds me of
that was better.
It reminds me of the Minologue synth.
Yeah.
It has a
Does
Minilong
it do
vibe.
those little squeaky, fast pitch bends though?
That
Like
and the Micro Freak. Yeah, you can do like all this little pitch bendy stuff, like almost with ease. I sent you a WhatsApp message, by the way.
I saw your message, your back channel. All right, this is a cool track. It's unique. I mean, barring a couple of things that I would have done differently, I think that was nice, and I'm glad you were able to get your link reposted. Zach, nice work. Unique
Nice
sounds, right? Now, okay, so we're officially at the end. Now, I normally don't do this, and Tim, I'm going to get to you, but normally I say, hey, you have to submit your track on time, but this is a new viewer. This is someone who wasn't around, and they've submitted 2 tracks, and we're going to give you a chance today. Since we've gone on long anyway, we've got Apocalypse Musicale. Did I say it right? And there's 2 tracks, Anguish Lab or Into the Unknown. And I'm not sure. Into the Unknown reminds me of Frozen 2. You know that song from the Disney movie? Into the Unknown.
I don't have kids.
Into the Unknown. So maybe
you're killing me.
Is that the one? Let's play that one because I just completely debased myself by badly singing Disney musicals.
No, I love you are the songbird of your generation.
I can
John.
sing much better than that. I'm just a little congested. All right. Already a lot going on in the intro.
Sounds like 125.
The AI is looking at me. Yeah, this is slower. Slower, psychedelic kind of vibes, right? It's got kind of a retro vibe to it. It's got kind of a late 80s, early 90s bass. You know what I mean?
Listening.
Snare drum build up. Okay, I'm gonna jump in a little bit. Another break. So maybe a little. The mix needs work. There's too much sub. It's muddy. Don't you think?
There's a lot going on.
It needs to be cleaned up. Like, I think. Yeah, this stuff is hard. I'll be honest. This stuff is hard to do well. This level of rich synth work and chord changes, but one of the best things you can do to help clean it up is work on your mix to fit those synths together. Yeah, I'm getting it's like side psychedelic techno mixed with like Stranger Things. It's got kind of a synthwave vintage vibe to it, right? That could be really cool.
Once again, I would like to hear this with the drums and bass line muted just to hear the synth work.
Well, and then, sure, all the nice synths would be great. But then if the drums and the bass were mixed or better balanced, then the synths would come out more, right? I think you might have multiple bass lines playing at the same time. That's a skill to learn how to layer low end like that. It's easy to get wrong.
There are definitely like multiple instruments and synths in the mix that all have bass. Mm-hmm. So like the different bass parts or bass byproducts of each element are, for lack of a better term, fighting for space.
Yeah, no, they are. It's not. That's exactly what they're doing. They're duking it out. So anyway, I think it was cool. We got to sneak in one more track from a new viewer. Thanks for participating. And just to let you guys know in the future, now that you know, when you come back for another one, for another feedback session, when we schedule one, we always like announce it a couple of weeks before, and then you have 13 days to submit your track, like the day before the stream. So there's time for us to like go through it and and I can also see if everything is working and everything. So thank you. Now, Tim has requested that we listen to one of his tracks, and I think that's a perfectly fine thing to do, to say thank you to Tim, to listen to one of his choice of tracks. The first, in the beginning, in the intro, I just chose a track randomly, and it's not the one that Tim would have picked, so let's give him a chance. Now, you said you want to listen to, let's see.
Either Have Mercy or Learning Curve, but...
which one's your favorite? Be honest.
Have Mercy.
Have Mercy.
Have
All right.
Mercy is the tune.
All right, here we go.
I just want to hear it. I want to hear it through the internet.
You want to hear it through the internet? Because you want to know, that's the reference you want. That's like
that's the ref I want.
All right.
And you can love it or hate it. I mean, it is what it is.
All right, let's get this volume back up
again.
again.
We're all on the chopping block here, so
let's hit it. Everybody be cruel to Tim.
Be cruel. Be cruel to me. As the track is cruel to you.
I'm not going to say anything. Viewers, hey chat, put your comments in the chat for Tim to read, and let him have it.
Now I'm paying attention to the comments.
Brave of you. I haven't read the comments out there, Mr. Xavier.
Yeah, it's just like a fat, chunky tune. I'm summonsing the sequential, hard, late 90s kind of obscurum Birmingham vibes.
Audio Muscle said it just needs to be mastered, Tim.
And that's actually, there's some truth to that. Like when I'm producing my own tunes, I actually prefer someone else to master my music. Whereas, I mean, I can only approve or be satisfied with the mixdown of what I do to a certain point. That's the ride cymbal I'm talking about.
Yeah, squashed.
Kicked. And it's got like a little bit of a sweep to it.
I like it. I'm looking up. Why am I looking up? Where's it going?
I don't know. I mean, it's a track. It's a tracky track.
It's definitely a tracky track.
It has movement, but the movement is like built into the sequence. And this is one of those tunes where I definitely muted the drums a couple different times and then reworked the drums to like finally get to a place where I like the tune.
Yeah.
You can kick it up just like a decibel.
That's what you got.
I got one.
You got one.
I got one. Anyway, man, this has been fun. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for hanging out for the extended version.
I mean, I think in the future, we should definitely do a show with myself and Mike Grinzer from Man-Made Mastering.
Yeah.
So we can.
I've been wanting to do that forever.
And I've been wanting to do it forever. It's just that our week to week and month to month, it gets busy.
So busy. Yeah.
A lot of stuff is going on, new projects and whatnot. So at the moment, I just remastered a massive project for an artist. I can't talk about Fight Club, but there's a lot of like good juju going on in the studio and whatnot. But in the future, it would be cool to like, have me and Mike on, so we can like maybe play some different tracks and compositions and talk about like what goes into making them sound the way they do.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Outside of the realm of production and scoring.
I'm with that. Let's try to make it happen. Someone wanted you to explain the ride cymbal thing again, like what you do with the ride cymbal to make it sound like that.
Yeah, so back in the day, we all had either Mackie mixers, like a 24x4 analog Mackie mixer. In my case, I had actually one of the more expensive Behringer mixing consoles. It was a 24x4, so 24 channels, 4 bus. And you would just play the ride cymbal through a mono channel and smash the gain and have the fader.
The crap out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be blood red. And then you would have the fader all the way down, and then you would just leak the fader up just a little bit, and you would get like this distorted shear sound. And then you would pan the mids just a little bit. Maybe it's the opposite on the camera, so it would be like 1 or 2 o'clock, and then there's the frequency sweep. So then you'd have
Yeah. You're using the sweepable mid-range like a filter.
and then on the console you would send reverb.
Yeah.
It was just one way to get like a ride cymbal that had movement, and then you could like detune. I mean, at the time I didn't own a 909, but you could detune in Cubase VST at the time, so you could sweep the ride. Yeah. With reverb being sent. Meanwhile, with like a bit of reverb, yeah, it was dope.
Nice.
And that's what you hear. It's like an old sample that I made back in the day.
This track is pretty mental, man. I mean, it's even playing quiet in the background now, and it's still like, what?
Have mercy.
Like, I feel like this is the end of the track right now. It's like the best part almost.
I agree with you.
It gets there.
The only problem is I couldn't take the end of the track and move it to the middle. I was just too lazy to do that. I just figured, it's a 5.5 minute tune. You deal with it. And I think at the end of the day, when you're finishing tunes, you've got to just finish tracks and just be like, you know what, this is my composition. You deal with it.
There you go.
It's as functional as it has to be.
With attitude.
Yeah, with attitude. Balls to the wall, baby.
And the Metaface asked, the name of this track is Have Mercy, right?
Yes.
Nice. Well, Tim, we did it. We made it to the end. We got through everybody. We listened to all the tracks. Lots of great tracks. Definitely. A couple that were like a little outside of the brief, but that's okay. We can be open to different variations, and it's all related anyway. It's electronic. It's dance music, right?
Most definitely.
But we're not really an EDM show.
No, but it's nice to be like objective and cool about like people's production, especially when they're just getting a grip on kick that guy out. Getting a grip on like what they're doing in the realm of their production, et cetera, and we want to help people get to a place where they're comfortable and they're like, okay, I'm ready for mastering, or I'm ready to I'm ready to commit.
Absolutely. So, I will also say, like, 343 Labs in general is not a techno institution. We do all styles of music here, and we do other events with other styles of music. There are other opportunities for people who produce different genres to be a part of what we do here at 343. So, like, for example, Great Dane is now doing this Chop Shop. I think it's a monthly sample challenge where people will get stems or parts of a track and then do their own interpretation of it. And I believe there will even be prizes. It's more of a competition, actually. Here's not a competition. This is just sharing music and talking about music and constructive criticism. But So that's another thing you guys could keep out for. If you're a subscriber to this channel, or this is just popping up in your algorithm and this throws it to you, and you're into other music besides techno, we are open to that at 343 Labs. So anyway, one last little bit of marketing speak for 343, since it's part of my job description to talk about 343, because I'm a part of it and I believe in it. We do a lot of fun things here and we want more people to be involved.
I think you just said 343 like 9 times.
Yes, exactly.
And you can find me at
validation through repetition. Like,
and you can find me at manmademastering.de or
manmade mastering, manmade mastering. So how many times can you say that without messing it up? Man-made mastering, man-made mastering, man-made mastering, man-made. I can do it 3 or 4 times.
I end up saying mermaid mastering or handmade mastering.
Handmade Detroit techno.
It was funny back in the day. Comedian was like, "You should just call it mermaid mastering."
Mermaid mastering.
Mermaid mastering.
Oh boy, that beer's getting to you. Now, let's call it a day. I think we've had enough. Thanks again.
Yes,
Tim.
sir.
Thanks everybody for watching today. Thanks for all the great submissions. Really psyched at the quality. We're getting stream bombed by Ambivalent. Oh no! All right. See you later, Kevin. See you later, everybody. Adios.
Ciao.